Hi everyone, it's Stella Grizont with Work Happier Weekly from WUPA, where we help you work happier and live better because you spend most of your waking hours at work and we've got to make them count, right? So today is actually the first time I'm actually speaking intentionally about not feeling better at work, but about how do you deal with sadness at work? Because it's inevitable that life happens, right? Someone might get sick, someone's pet may pass, someone may break up or get divorced, or I mean, who knows? And the news has been so devastating, especially lately. So it is hard. And I want to talk about ways that you can be with your sadness and also functioning still at work. And unfortunately, I feel like we don't deal enough with how to be healthfully sad because being sad doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with you. It doesn't mean you have to go on antidepressants. And, it is a normal, healthy response to feel sad if something devastating happens in your life. So, I want the first thing to encourage anyone who's feeling deep waves of sadness because of a life event or just what's happening in the news. We've had several mass shootings in the United States just this weekend. I want first and foremost to encourage you to be okay with the feelings. And what that means is that you don't try to push them away, you don't try to pretend like everything is fine and just go on with your business. And again, you guys, if you don't like this, just throw out this advice. But what I have found and what we know through the research is that acknowledging your emotion, even saying it out loud, helps you move through it faster. There was a study done with MRI patients where they took two groups of patients, and one group, before they went into the MRI machine, was asked how they were feeling, and another group wasn't. And the group that was asked how they were feeling and said that they were feeling anxious ended up having a better experience and feeling less anxious at the end. So by just admitting how you're feeling, which can be in a journal or to a confidant or just out loud to yourself, that can actually help you process the emotion, because the emotion just needs to be witnessed and needs to move through you. It's energy in motion. And so there's no script. I wish I could give you a recipe or a script for how to deal with it, but I'm just going to try to give you coping strategies. This year, for me personally, was very difficult. We had some family health stuff go down. And so I found myself many times this year feeling completely like the floor was just taken out from under me and not really knowing how to be with it, especially with all my tools. And so, what I found is noticing how I was feeling and also just returning to the present moment, returning to the present moment, returning to the present moment. I'm sitting here on this couch. Everything here is okay, right? So often when we're feeling sad or upset about something, our thoughts can go in all sorts of crazy directions and start anticipating realities which aren't even true, right? And so what I want to remind you of is returning to the present moment is a huge saving grace. And you have to return every moment, every microsecond. It's actually a conscious act, especially sometimes when we feel so sad. Returning to that moment, returning to right here. I'm sitting here. I just had dinner. I'm wearing a gray t-shirt. This is where I am. So it's a really delicate balance to navigate holding your feelings, being in the present moment, not letting yourself spiral out of control. So, what happens when you go to work and you're feeling sad, right? So, the first thing I would encourage you to do if you're not able to stay composed, let's say you're just bawling or you're really not able to function, is I would strongly encourage you to do a mental health day. Take a mental health day if your company doesn't offer them a personal day, a vacation day, because you're just not going to be productive. And it's probably going to be more stressful for you worrying about how other people are seeing you and it's not going to help your processing at all. In fact, we know from research that this was a study done by Harvard, where they found that 51% of the time you're doing something, you're thinking about something else. So that is already our baseline as humans. And one of the biggest drivers for distraction is our negative emotions. So if you're not able to stay composed and focused on the task at hand or get things done, if you don't feel like you have it in you, really take that day. And if you don't have the day, if you feel safe confiding in a manager, you might want to give them some context. You don't have to give them all the details, but you could say, you know what, I've had some really tough personal stuff going on. And so I need to take the day because I'm just not going to be very productive at work. You might also want to give that context to people if you are showing up to work and you can function, but you're just really off. Sometimes other people might read your sadness as, you're being mean to them or you're being angry at them, right? And sometimes we are. Sometimes when we're sad, it comes out in all sorts of different ways. And so if it's helpful, you might also want to extend that context to those you're interacting with, saying, I'm having a few rough personal days. And so I'm just want to let you know that if I'm acting off, it has nothing to do with you. It's just some stuff I'm dealing with and we're going to be fine. And, this project is going to be done. But I just want you to know that it's nothing is personal. It's just what's going on with me. So one, honor your emotions, say them out loud, journal them, return to the present moment, try to take a day off. If you can't take a day off, give yourself some breaks. Don't try to be a hero, right? So sometimes when we're feeling sad, we want to dive into work. And hey, by all means, like I said, there's no right or wrong way. So it's your way. I'm just offering you some perspective from research, from my experience, but there really is no way, no right way. Hey, Holly. Hey, Sean. So what I would encourage you to do is to be gentle with yourself and not expect yourself to really give it 150% on the day that you're feeling really, really sad. Maybe just get what you have to get done, the minimal amount of work, and then go home and rest and do whatever is nourishing and nurturing for you. And maybe binge on some comedies or just sit there and stare into space, like whatever you need. It's not always going to feel great. And so, as someone who is regularly lecturing and speaking on positive psychology and how to be happy at work, I want to say that forcing yourself to always be happy is not the answer. We need to acknowledge the negative emotions when they come. That is the healthy response. And so the other thing you might want to do, and this is what I have found is really helpful, is if you are at work and you are, doing your work, what really helps is a reminder that you are there to be of service. And being of service, helping others, actually really helps ease any personal emotional turmoil. Because when we are helping others, we recognize how we have control over contributing to something bigger than ourselves. And we know, again, from the research that doing kind acts or several kind acts a day not only can it make you feel better, but actually you can experience something called the helper's high. It's actually like a high that you get. So, doing kind things for others when you're feeling down, or just when you're with a client or you're with a colleague, just really being like, how can I be of service to this person? Again, that's you being present, because that's what you're there at work to do anyway. And that really also helps ease things. So, with that, I know this is an unusual segment for Work Happier Weekly, but it will actually help you work happier when you do hit those rough moments, to honor them and let yourself go there in a safe way. Because the more that we try to repress our emotion, shove it, scoop it under the rug, the more it comes out in a uncontrollable way, the more it controls us versus us really managing it. So I'd love to hear any comments that you guys have, or strategies for coping with your own sadness. If you want, feel free to leave a comment here, or if you're watching this on YouTube, which is where we post the recordings, leave a comment there, or feel free to just write me, stella@whoopa.com. And if you like this video, give me a like, share it with someone who could use it. And that's it, you guys. I hope you have a great night, and I hope that you have much, much joy in your life. And if you're not feeling that, I wish you much grace and swiftness in moving through wherever it is that you're at. All right. Thank you, and good night.